Kia ora everyone, welcome to my yearly series of adapting the Game Awards nominees into LEGO minifigures. It was another really great year of gaming, but as of recording this video, I've only personally finished one of the nominees, something that I need to work on hopefully before this video is uploaded, but I have started my journey on at least 4 of the nominees, so we are making some progress there. Now these are all the minifigures that I will be using to make my custom creations. I say this every year, but I really think this might be the biggest selection of figures that I've used. As always, a good amount of parts here are available through mini releases, but the best details are tragically exclusive. There are timestamps down below for you to go and find your favorites. I've already built our interesting host here, ready to go on, so without further ado, let's get into it.
For this year's awards, our global TGA jury has selected the following 6 games as the nominees for Game of the Year. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 from Sandfall Interactive.
So going alphabetically, well, we start with the one that's going to win Game of the Year. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was the little game that could. The behind the scenes stories for this are very fascinating, and it would make for a really great pick to be the overall champion, which I imagine will be the outcome this December. Multiple nominations across multiple categories, including 3 in the performance roles, and this game currently holds the record for the most amount of nominations at this silly but fun award show. Gustav is the first playable lead, so it only made sense to me to base the figure around him. And we're using quite a few minifigures released across various sets here, so let's get into it. I start with Black Widow from the 2020 Avengers sets for her legs. I'm applying Hawkeye's torso, but I'm removing the arms. I just want that purple. The arms are coming from Tom Cruise and Bucky, one sleeve that's been cut and the other one being a robot arm. I'm using Reaper's cloak there to look like robes, and then snap Wexley's face from the Rise of Skywalker sets. And then the Jurassic World villain hairpiece here, I forgot the character's name, but that's not important. As I have only just started my playthrough, I'm not familiar with the ideal type of weapons to be used for this guy, so I grabbed a sword from the modern castle based releases. I think he came together pretty well, but it would have been better to have found facial hair that matches the hairpiece. The purple and black though looks very striking to me, and I think the robot arm looks really great too.
Death Stranding 2, On the Beach from Kojima Productions.
And now we're getting into my personal pick for Game of the Year. God, Death Stranding is so important to me, and just a very personal release too. There's far too much to get into, so we'll skip over that and just get to Sam. The world does mean everything to me though, so I really needed to work on nailing this thing. We have 7 nominations here in total, and PlayStation's streak of nominations continues. This is the selection of figures that I have for Sam Porter-Bridges, and we can see that we've got a few options at the back there for his hairpieces. We start with a random Jurassic World guard figure, only for the torso, which features those tactical colors I want. From Deadshot, I'm using the backpack design, only keeping these bricks, so you can grab these parts there from any other sets in your collection. Same goes for Edward Cullen, just the neck bracket there for a connected backpack design. I'm using the Oscar Isaac Poe Dameron expression because I like the soft smile there, and these are the hair pieces that I was experimenting with. The one I landed on was the Duncan Idaho one from this Dune set, silver briefcase there from Bubbles as well. And now for the tricky part, I need to brick build some accessories for him. This is the basic design that I was going with for Lou, the BB unit that Sam starts with in the game. It's the baby in the pod. Very simple concept that everyone online uses as well. It gets the main idea across. It attaches onto his front torso here like so. I think it's very simple and very clean. And then this here is my concept of the Odradek, the scanning device in the game. There are much better designs found online, but I'm pretty happy with this one overall, and I wanted to show off the way that I did the connection points there, which will be important for the backpack. It goes onto Sam like so, where one stud there on the side is left clear so that I can attach the rest of the cargo pack. And then this is my design for the backpack. I'm mostly using spare parts and extras from various other sets, clips and tiles and 1x1 bricks there, trying to use different colors too for the difference of cargo up top. Built intentionally with a gap there at the bottom so that it links onto the pack without affecting my build of the Odradek. This here is my Sam Porter-Bridges all complete, and I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. He's pretty much exactly how I imagined him. I think it's immediately recognizable to be based on these games, and this is how the other hairstyles would look for him. I saw a lot of people online using the Aragorn hairpiece, which looks like this. I always thought that Norman Reedus in the game and just in real life has more of a Rex Dangerfest hairpiece, but it just doesn't look right to me. I think it's a bit too big and bulky, so I landed on the Duncan Idaho piece, which I think is a better fit for this design, and it's now my gold standard for him from here on. I'm really happy with this figure overall, easily one of my favorites.
Donkey Kong Bananza from Nintendo.
I felt, as a non-Nintendo player, that DK Bananza was the strongest argument I've seen this year for buying a Switch 2. It looks very fun, and it comes with 2 nominations here in total, Best Family Game and Game of the Year. So here's the thing, LEGO have already made a pretty good looking LEGO Donkey Kong figure, so that's easy. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use that guy. The figure that I'm making here then is Pauline, your companion friend that's in the game. Very simple release as well. We have here a selection of very cartoony-like characters. I start with Robin's legs from the LEGO Batman movie CMF series. I'm using Amy's torso because she's already featuring the sleeveless look that I want. I'm swapping her head and hands with Mary Jane from the Spider-Man apartment set that I bought recently. And then I'm giving her Belle's hairpiece, which isn't perfect, but I felt like it fits characteristically. I'm pretty happy with this one overall. It's a game that I've not played, so there was a bit more research put into this one, but I think it matches her pretty well. She looks even better when she's paired up with Donkey Kong himself. I thought about maybe using smaller legs there, but it would affect how she interacts with him, and scale-wise, she's already very tiny compared to the big guy himself.
Hades 2 from Supergiant Games.
Hades 2 is yet another game I've not had the chance of playing, though I haven't played enough of Hades 1 yet either. Melanoe looks like a very striking character design that I was very excited to try and attempt to replicate in LEGO, though I will say we can't be extremely accurate with this one unfortunately. Her eyes just have to be a bit more plainer when it comes to using minifigure heads. 6 nominations in total, big highlights for indie game, art and game direction, and of course Game of the Year. This here is the selection of figures I have for our main protagonist, and we already get a pretty good sense of colour here. I'm using Hercules but only keeping his legs. From the Dungeons & Dragons CMF series, I'm using the Lady of Pain's torso, which looks fabulous to me. I'm removing everything else here. One arm is coming from Wonder Woman, and the other arm, being the green one, comes from Kermit the Frog. I'm using Poison Ivy's face print there for the green lips, and the Pilot Lady's hairpiece from the Jurassic World line of sets. And I didn't know what weapon she has either, so I kept the sword from Wonder Woman, and I gave her Moon Knight's crescent blade piece that was a spare release. I really enjoyed my time making this figure. Again, it's a game that I have no familiarity with, so I think it came together quite well. The big detail that I can see missing are the 2 different coloured eyes, but at least we get the green lips from Poison Ivy.
Hollow Knight Silksong from Team Cherry.
Team Cherry's surprise release this year was huge. Many games had to move their release dates around because they didn't want to release alongside this beast. I haven't played too much of the Hollow Knight games either, so I really needed to do some research into Hornet here before attempting this. Hollow Knight Silksong nabbed 5 nominations in total, a huge achievement for the small Australian-based team. An interesting selection of figures here for this one, another very cartoon-based release, and one that, I'll just come right out and say it, cannot be accurately made in LEGO using existing minifigure pieces. I'm using Robotnik's legs there for height difference that I see fans pointing out in their fan art online. I wanted to grab the skirt piece from Petunia Pig. It's a piece that I've used in many of these videos in the past. And then the plain torso there is from the Everyone is Awesome Lego set. I'm swapping the hands there for just some plain black ones. For that I have Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I chose to use Baymax's headpiece there, and White Tiger is as close as we get to some horns. This here is a custom spear that I made from extra parts in my collection. It's not an ideal design. Hornet has a very specific character design from the game for the head and horn style that just simply cannot be replicated using traditional minifigure pieces. I would love to hear anyone's thoughts on improving this figure so that fans around the world can have something out there that can be easily designed, but this definitely feels like something that needs to be brick built based instead.
And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 from Warhorse Studios.
I still remember when the first game released, people loved it for its crazy authentic details and simulation features, and now the sequel closes us out this year with 3 nominations in total, the highlights being for Best Narrative and Best RPG alongside the big one. Henry of Skalitz here mostly uses parts from medieval knights and sword-like styles. I'm using the Dragonborn Paladin's legs, which is a great detailed piece, touching it up there with the dress piece from Scarlet Witch. I'm then using the entire Uruk-hai torso, the arms and the armor piece both really work for this design, adding Kevin Flynn's face from the Tron set and swapping the hairpiece over with Tony Stark. Very simple. For his accessories, I'm just giving him the items found on Boromir. It's a pretty cool knight figure inclusion. I tried to find some more accurate looking weapons because I think the shield here is the part that's the most off, but I still think he works to represent the game in LEGO form. Now, a couple of extras here that I wanted to include to just bulk things out a little. Ghost of Yōtei here was one of the more recent releases, one that I have not played yet, but I liked the style of Atsu quite a lot. Ghost of Yōtei also managed to get 7 nominations total, which is quite a lot for something that wasn't locked in for Game of the Year. I was pretty surprised to see this, so congratulations to that team. I'm using quite a few different figures for this one. I start with Valkyrie there, using just her legs, and we add that skirt from the Harry Potter line of sets to hide the more sci-fi-like details. This Monkey Kid figure is from the Mountain set that I love so much, and then I'm removing the head and the hands there and taking the cape from Shanks from the One Piece sets. The head and hands come from Rose Tico from Star Wars, and then I'm using the Raya hat hairpiece combo part, which is fun because both characters are played by Kelly Marie Tran. And then I'm taking the loot piece from the Bard figure to better represent the shamisen for her to play. I also gave her a Ninjago sword too. I really like the Atsu figure overall. I think black and yellow is a really great color combo style for releases like this, and man, I cannot tell you how excited I was when I remembered the hat hairpiece from the Raya sets, which truly makes this figure feel complete. The last game I wanted to cover here was Split Fiction, one of the first releases in the year and previously announced, I believe, at the 2024 Game Awards show. This game was also really fun, another fabulous co-op adventure from Hazelight, netting them 4 nominations in total. It's 2 main characters as well, both featuring different genre designs, so I knew that it would be a fun one. Starting with Mio, the sci-fi fan, using Flynn's body from Tron and swapping the head and hands for Barbara Gordon and Zendaya from the MCU Spider-Man movies, and then adding Kira's hairpiece from Solo. As for Zoe, the fantasy fan, using mostly fantasy-based releases. We've got Flynn Rider's legs there with the satchel off to the side, the musician girl from the Lego Movie 2 skirt piece, the halfling druid's torso looks really great, using Rosie Cotton's face there and Scarlett Johansson's hairpiece from the Jurassic World sets. Adding these two together, I think they came out really well. No accessories though, and if I did have the time, I would try to make their respective outfits from each other's worlds too. Mio would ideally have a more pinkish red highlight than blue, but I liked Flynn's style here, which felt a bit more obviously sci-fi to me than other torsos out there. As for Zoe, the ideal inclusion would be a bandana piece or something, maybe a shoulder attachment for a dragon inclusion too, but I think that both of these guys came together really well. And that's my list of LEGO Game Award nominations for 2025. Overall, I'm really happy with how these guys turned out, some more favorites of mine to add to my list, but I always have a good time making these anyway because part of the research involves me having to play games. Be sure to check out the previous videos where I made figures based on 2024 and 2023 releases. Next up, the Oscar showcase, which I believe is around March of next year, and I've already begun working on those figures. Thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed this custom minifigure showcase, liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Ka kite anō, take care, hope to see you all next time.